Yes, good evening, family. My name is John Arnett, and I'm here today to give my true testimony of my lifestyle of drug and alcohol addiction. I first started drinking when I was a little kid at my father's parties that he had, just running around, just drinking up stuff that they left and drinking beers and drinking beer and alcohol with my friends, thinking it was cool. Growing up, when you young, you think it's cool to, get messed up and stuff like that. At least I did. I can't speak for anybody else, but when I was younger, I did think that it was cool to get messed up and all that. But later on in life, I came to realize that that is exactly what was bringing me down. Was drugs and alcohol. Um, my last time that I went to Upper Marlboro jail, I met Elder Kevin. He came to preach out there. As I remember, I know he used to come on Wednesdays for a good godly reason. He took to me, and I took to him, and he gave me his phone number, and he said, "Brother, I want you to call me as soon as you're released." And I told him that I would, and I meant it. I really meant that I would call him when I got out. While I was there was this brother named Derek, and he looked me straight in the eye and he said, "You really gonna call him, man, when you get out?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm a definitely call him when I get out." You know, and as soon as I came from Tennessee, I got out and then I had a specific time to be back in Maryland to start my probation. I called him when I got to Tacoma Station, and it was a Friday, I remember, and he asked me to come to a Bible study that he was having on Saturday morning, and I told him I'd be there. And I came to the Bible study, and it was really nice. I met some real nice brothers. I met brother Kevin Williams, which was a true blessing for me to meet him, man. It was just it was God who sent me there. I got to talking to Kevin about his stories and his past and his present, and I was telling him that I had just came home, man. I'm struggling, still drinking, still drugging. He never looked down on me, not one time. He said that he had his own business and he would put me to work for 3 days. I was totally broke. You know, wasn't even looking for a job really. I just knew I needed to work, and I mean it was God's God's work all the way that He just gave me 3 days worth of work and paid me every day, and it kept me going. Now at the time that I did go to work with him, I was still drinking, and I know he knew that I was still drinking, but he never looked down on me. He just kept trying to help me. And, I just wasn't used to that. You know, I just wasn't used to people helping me like that. I didn't understand it, but I understand it now. It was God who was helping me to find someone to help me. I didn't think that I had a problem, and that was one of my main problems. Is thinking that everything was okay when it wasn't. It was bad. It was horrible. I was in denial. I didn't know which way to go, so I just started drinking more and more and more. And then I would wake up sober and my problems would still be there. That was one of my problems. I would drink to try to kill the pain. But I later on realized that you can't do that. You know, I just pray now about all my issues, about my drug addiction. Um, I basically, after I met Kevin, I went to the Laurel House. Well, actually, before that, I was over on 30th Street Southeast with a friend of mine, a so-called friend of mine. All we had in common was drinking, actually. And like to got myself killed one night over there, and that's when I just got on my knees and asked God to please help me to find some direction, you know, to make some sense out of what I was doing, because I was doing nothing that made any sense. You know, all I was doing was drinking and being around people who I shouldn't have really been around. The only thing we had in common was drinking. So after that night, I was actually talking to my mother, and I told her what happened and that I about got myself killed, and she just kept saying, "Son, would you please just get some help? Please find something, do something." And at that time that I was talking to my mother, brother Kevin Williams called me, and he told me that you said that you wanted a job. You said that you wanted your own place. He said, "I have a place for you to live. I have a job for you starting off at $12 an hour." And after all that I've been through, there's no way that I was going to pass up that opportunity to try something new. And to his word, he came and got me, took me to the house. They accepted me. And he took me to the job. I got the application. I filled it out. The only requirement for me was to stop using, stop drinking, and stop drugging. And I made the choice to try it. You know, I struggled at first, but I met some really, really solid people in Alcoholics Anonymous, which I avoided for so long. Court ordered was really the only way that I ever walked into the rooms. And I didn't want to be there then. I was still hard headed and stubborn. And I really met some solid people there. Brother Kevin, Greg, Asan, Sister Colleen, and Donald. There's some really, really solid people that were working the program, and showed me that I could do it. You know, I've never really thought that I could stop drinking or drugging. Alcohol being my main source of addiction. I tried all kinds of drugs, Love Boat, cocaine. I never tried crack, but for a while I did sell it, and I didn't think I had a problem, but I was seriously, seriously sick. And I just thank God for the Laurel House, for the Damascus House, and for the people that God allowed me to meet during my time at the program. It was a true blessing to me to meet and see people that go out and have fun and not drink. I always associated alcohol with fun, and it wasn't fun in the end. It was miserable because I was using it as a crutch. I was using it as an excuse to try to kill my pain. You know, these days I do not use alcohol or drugs. This year, February the 8th, I will have 8 years clean, and that's all from the grace of God and the people that I met through this program. The Damascus House is a great program. Kevin Williams is a great man, and he helps so many people, and I just can't say enough about him. He's a great man, and I'm glad that God allowed me to meet him. And I wish the Damascus House and all of its foundation the best and its true blessing. I thank you, Brother Kevin, man, for believing in me, for helping me, for all that you've done. And to anyone who is watching this video, this story is a true testimony. This is not made up. This is a true testimony of the things that I've been through in my life that were very difficult, that were very hard. And, being out there on the streets in Washington, D.C., homeless, it was, that was a real tough time for me, because, no one feels sorry for you when you're out on the streets, and if you're looking for somebody to feel sorry for you, then, you're looking for the wrong thing. All that it takes is to make a change, you know. And this program really changed my life. I couldn't keep a steady job. I wouldn't go to work because of being so drunk the night before. I'd call in or get fired from having a bad attitude. And I've been on my job for 5 years now. Same job. And that's a true blessing of change for me also. And I thank God first and foremost for letting me meet, for allowing me to meet these wonderful people that are working the program. You know, I can remember a time when I was playing around, going in there and not being serious. And, the program really helped to change my life, when I was willing to accept the truth that I am a drug addict and alcoholic, and I will always be one, but I do not, under any circumstances, have to use. So I'm making this video for the newcomer and anyone who doesn't believe that this program works. Trust and believe me, it does work. God bless.